Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we have some amazing news for The Mandalorian Season 3. We're also going to be talking about Grogu and his role in the Mandoverse and more. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. We begin with some great news for The Mandalorian Season 3. As of yesterday, filming has officially wrapped as preparation for post-production is going to begin soon. This was confirmed on Instagram from someone in the costume department who also tagged Brendan Wayne, the main body double for Djarin in the show. Celebrations were shared in the comments, and this update is huge for a few reasons. First of all, it means that the Ahsoka series is on schedule to begin principal photography next month. And it also means, and this is the big one, that we're going to be hearing a lot more rumours and leaks for The Mandalorian's upcoming third season over the next few weeks and months. If you think back, my dear friends, after season 2 wrapped filming, the hype for the show was at an all-time high, and we've not really seen anticipation like it since, apart from maybe the Kenobi show. But what I'm saying is that part of the excitement for The Mandalorian Season 2 is the fact that we were hearing a lot of big stuff coming from leakers and scoopers, most of which ended up being true, by the way. We were hearing about Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Cobb Vanth, and even Boba Fett long before the season dropped. Now recently Bespin Bulletin and others have said that they are sitting on some big updates for The Mandalorian Season 3, and I suspect things will pick up on that front really soon. We've already had some plot details come out, for example the living waters under the mines of Mandalore, and how Din Djarin is going to atone, and how the Armorer and Bo-Katan Kryze are going to be allies and not enemies, but it's going to be interesting what else we learn over the next few months. Now before you say it's best to go in blind, I doubt any of the leaks we're going to get are going to be as expansive and specific as the Kenobi ones have been. There is way more secrecy surrounding the Favreau and Filoni projects, and they make sure of that. And it's also why nobody was really talking about Luke appearing in The Mandalorian until Chapter 16 dropped. And what a surprise that was. I'm really hoping we get more of those in the upcoming seasons, and that not everything is leaked beforehand. It's kind of like a catch-22 with Star Wars fans. We love the rumours and leaks, yet we still want to go into these shows blind, with an element of not knowing what's going to happen. And in a sense, Season 2 struck a good balance, because even though we heard about Ahsoka and other characters, we didn't know how they were going to play into the show and the roles that they were going to have. And the reason I'm contrasting it to the Kenobi series is that with Obi-Wan Kenobi at this point, 70% of the entire show has been leaked, if of course those rumours are true. But the big takeaway here, guys, is that The Mandalorian Season 3 has wrapped, and there is still a chance it releases this December. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a January or February 2023 release date. Let's just wait and see, but great news here. So speaking of The Mandalorian, speaking of Ahsoka, let's talk about Grogu. I came across a great editorial, a speculation piece if you will, from Star Wars Newsnet, and they think that Grogu is going to be the connective tissue throughout all of the Mandoverse. He was introduced in The Mandalorian Season 1, he was taken by Luke at the end of Season 2, and in the Book of Boba Fett, Grogu gave up the opportunity to become Luke's first Jedi student in order to return to Din. And even though many of us assume that Grogu's destiny is going to be as a Mandalorian, he is currently a foundling, we really do not know what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are setting up with him. I think there's so much more to Grogu than what we know. He's going to appear in The Mandalorian Season 3, obviously, but the question is, could he also appear in Star Wars Ahsoka? And if so, what is his purpose going to be? Well, the answer could lie in his past. Now, I believe that in spite of the fact that Ahsoka didn't want to train him, she is going to play a big role in Grogu's future. She was the character that Dave Filoni decided to tell us his backstory, that he trained at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant before Order 66 happened, where he was hidden, taken from the temple, and his mind goes dark, and to this day, we still don't know who rescued him, but the Book of Boba Fett gave us a glimpse at that flashback, one which I think is going to continue in the Ahsoka series. And the reason I say this is a hint from that scene. In the Order 66 scene, in the corner of the frame, we see Barriss Offee's crest that can be spotted on the walls of the Jedi Temple. Now, Barriss Offee is a mystery because we don't know what happened to her after the Clone Wars. Some believe she was executed for the crimes that she committed and framed Ahsoka for, while others believe that she went on to become an Inquisitor. Dave Filoni said he wants to explore her story more in the future, and I think it was the Illuminati who reported that they were casting for a Barriss Offee in the Ahsoka series. Now personally, I hope it's not Barriss Offee who rescued Grogu, but it seems like this crest was a hint, and I do think we will find out more about that flashback and who rescued Grogu in the future. But the mystery to me and a lot of fans is, why is Grogu's past so important to the current story? I mean, yes, for fans it's going to be fascinating and we all want to know who it was, but Filoni is clearly setting something up with this. The person who rescued Grogu will clearly have some importance to the current story of the Mandoverse in some way, which is why part of me buys into the Barriss Offee theory, because that could connect Grogu to the Ahsoka show. Now, after season 2, I believe that the person who took Grogu was Mace Windu, or maybe even Jocasta Nu, but our theories might have been completely wrong. Maybe the person who took Grogu had nefarious intentions, which is why his mind goes dark when Ahsoka communicates with him. For all we know, Barriss Offee was working for the Empire, and he was taken to Mount Tantiss to be experimented on at such an early stage. How he ended up on Arvala 7 by the time of The Mandalorian Season 1 is an absolute mystery, but I really hope they fill in the gaps and tell us Grogu's entire story until now through bits and pieces across the upcoming shows. But I think it's really interesting to think that Grogu is the connective tissue with all of these stories. And who knows, maybe Grogu is a product of the Force. After all, he was born in the same year as Anakin. I'm telling you right now, guys, there is more to Grogu than meets the eye. So now, my dear Mandalorians, we're going to stay on the subject of The Mandalorian because a Mandoverse game is supposedly in the works. We did hear similar jibber jabber about a year ago, but nothing came of it, and the supposed gameplay that leaked was fan-made, but now there is something of a legitimate aspect to the claim that we will be getting a Mando game. This is from Game Rant, and they say that according to Nick Baker, the co-founder of Xbox Era, a Mandalorian video game based on the show is in development. Rumours of a Mandalorian game have been circulating for a while, but there have been no concrete announcements or even information on which studio is developing the project. Baker claims to have a lot of information on the game, but is holding off on revealing more until the game's developer is revealed. Speculation about which studio the project is going to go to began after EA lost its exclusivity deal to make games for the Star Wars brand. EA is still reportedly working on the Jedi Fallen Order sequel, which is speculated to be shown off at some point this year. And as we heard recently, guys, it's going to be at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. It is also reported that Ubisoft is working on an unannounced Star Wars project, and the Mandalorian game would fit Ubisoft's brand of open world games. Ubisoft will also be keen to impress, as a successful Star Wars title could lead it to becoming Disney's go-to developer for the title, in the same way that Insomniac is for the Marvel games, though it's unlikely Disney will ever lock itself into another exclusivity deal. As for the game itself, it is unlikely to be a retelling of the show's story, as Star Wars is no stranger to having games like Jedi Fallen Order and other multimedia projects be part of the franchise canon, as evidenced by the Star Wars comics and The Mandalorian itself. There are rumours that the game is going to be a prequel to the events of the show, set back when Din was purely a bounty hunter, and maybe even taking place before the collapse of the Empire and the Battle of Endor. Now, speaking of Star Wars Celebration, that would be the perfect place to showcase a game like this, and maybe that is where we're going to hear our first announcement for it, because this is not the first time rumours of a Mandoverse era game have surfaced. I for one would love a Mandalorian game, and while LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is offering us the opportunity to dive into the show with the Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2 DLC packs, an actual Mandalorian standalone game would be more than welcome, and I'm actually surprised it hasn't been done yet, considering the raging success of the show. But what do you guys think? Would you like a Mandalorian-centric game? Do you think it would do well? A game based around the events or a prequel to the events of the show itself? Let me know your thoughts of this in the comments down below, and everything else we spoke about in this news update. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and a massive welcome if you are. And if you want more videos that you can't find here on YouTube, then please be sure to check out my Patreon. The link is down there in the description. But until the next one, my dear friends, may the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.